remember when I first beat The Last of Us Part 1. I was in my fraternity house senior year of college, and everyone else had gone for whatever reason. And so I was there, I'm beating the game, and then just leaning back and being like, wow, that was an experience. Holy shit. And so a few months later, after beating it, I start replaying it. But this time I replayed it on grounded mode. This was like the PS4 remake. And so there, that was super tough because a lot of those scenarios you would die. You had to really master the patterns of the enemies. You had to be on top of your stealth. You had even less ammo than before. But I loved it. I loved the whole experience of it, even though I died so many times. Fast forward 10 years later, and this is last year, and I saw that The Last of Us Part 1 was available on PS Plus on PlayStation 5. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let's replay it again. But this time I didn't play it on grounded. I played it on survivor difficulty, which is the one that's less than grounded. And the reason is because I remember my experience with grounded and I was like, yeah, it was fun, but I died a whole bunch. And I did a lot of these scenarios so many times. I don't really want to do that again. I still want a challenge, but I don't want to just be dying and just grinding and grinding. That's why I don't really care for the Souls type of games. Like, for example, with Dark Souls, I got to maybe Blight Town and stopped it. I never played Dark Souls 2 or 3. Elden Ring has been on my list to play, but it's like I don't think I'll ever get to it because with Elden Ring, it's just another Souls game, right? And I know how long those can take. I played Bloodborne as well. Bloodborne, I think I got to some chalice dungeon thing, and then I lost about where to go, and then I stopped playing Bloodborne because it was the same thing where I was like, I don't want to just keep grinding and grinding against an enemy just to progress. And then so similar as I mentioned with the Last of Us, right? And so for me, what I found the optimal difficulty is where I might die a couple of times, but then I want to be able to progress. Because now, as I'm getting older, right? I'm about to be 33 as of recording this. I don't have the time to just spend hours and hours anymore on just dying and trying to figure out a game. Because I'm like, if I'm going to put in so much effort into a game, then I might as well put that effort into my real life because I think that real life is a video game, and I want to spend my time trying to level up in real life rather than just trying to level up in a game. Except Marvel Rivals, that's different. That shit, we're gonna hit GM one day. One day, GM will happen. But yeah, I was just reflecting on this that I really don't want hard type of games anymore. The Witcher 3, for example, when I first played it, I thought it was okay. I thought it was super easy, and so I cranked up the difficulty to Death March. And so I still remember there were some bosses that took an hour to beat because basically your attacks would do next to nothing. And it was like a sliver, and you would have to use so many healing potions and things. And so I remember liking Death March at the time, 10 years ago, because it forced me to use all of my potions and analyze the enemy weakness and things, which I still think is valuable. But now I'm probably going to replay The Witcher 3 again this year, especially if I've heard there's rumors of a new DLC that might come out. But if I play it again, I'm not going to play it on Death March, even though I already beat it on Death March. I'll probably play it on the difficulty that's above the normal, but less than the hardest. Because since I remember a lot about the game, I want to be able to do it, have somewhat of a challenge, but I don't want it to be super, super hard either. So right now I'm playing through Resident Evil 4 Remake, my favorite game of all time, just Resident Evil 4. And so I'm playing the remake right now, and I'm playing professional mode on New Game Plus, which means I get to carry over all the guns from my previous playthrough. And so I already beat Resident Evil 4 on professional on a brand new playthrough. I got the guns as they came out and had no extra money or upgrades or anything like that. And that was definitely difficult. There were some sections like with the regenerators, maybe some boss fights where I died a lot. But now as I look back, I'm like, you know what? Like, as I'm going through this professional mode, like I'm rolling through it because I have the upgraded Red 9 and I have the fully upgraded Riot gun. So I'm just blasting through these enemies. It's still, and I have so many healing items, and I have the full body armor. So it's still, I'm still finding a little bit of a challenge, but most of it is just fun. Now I'm just like, yeah, I've already done this, and now I get to just roll through the enemies. And yeah, as I get older and older, I find that's just what I prefer now. I want my games to be more experiences. So I want to enjoy the world, enjoy the setting, the characters, the gameplay, and I want to experience it, but I don't want to be struggling through it just because I do feel like I don't have the time or the mental bandwidth to really struggle through it. For example, there's another game called The Witness. Everyone was glazing the ever loving shit out of this game, right? Like 10 out of 10, all across the board. Amazing puzzle game. And so it's free on PS Plus. And so I remember trying it. And I probably got a little bit of the ways in. But then there's some puzzles I couldn't figure out. And I was like, okay, I could spend my time trying to figure out these puzzles, or I could just figure out puzzles in real life, like what to do next with my business, for example, or learning how can I help this patient who's struggling with this. That's the kind of puzzles that I want to be solving. Or how can we scale our cosplay runway show to the next level? What's the next thing I can do to improve it? So I find myself wanting to work on these real life problems more than the video game problems. There's another game I played recently called Blueprints. Again, I was just in the mood for a more chill puzzle type of game, so I played that for a couple hours. And then I started reading more about it online. They're like, yeah, it can take 70 hours to beat because you have to keep doing the runs again and again. And it's great. It's great when you do it, but you just got to get through the runs. And I was like, do I really have 60 hours to go through and try to keep doing the runs until eventually I get it right? And I was like, no, like I don't. And I don't want to be investing all the brain power to try to figure out this game again when I could just play it in real life. Recently, I've been finding myself in a kick. I'm just wanting to replay the old games that I've liked. I'm replaying Resident Evil 4 on the DS. I'm replaying Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, right? Just because these are games I've already played. And so I just want to experience that again and play through them again. So yeah, that's just an observation that I've had. I don't know if you've had this observation or this feeling. You might be like, well, I'm 50 years old and I still want to play the most challenging games. And yeah, that's all to you. Or you could be opposite. You could be like 20 and be like, hey, I'm with you, bro. I want to play just chill games. I don't want to be stressing out. My sister's like that. She's playing Pocopia right now. And yeah, I like it. It's just chill. But I sometimes I get stressed out when I have to plan too much or think too much in it or min max things because then that defeats the fun of the game for her. And so I'm with her there now, right? So I want my games to be enjoyable, relaxing, and not too much mental stress or tension. So yeah, I'm just curious that if you've ever thought about this, because I think about the things that are important to me and my life, and I love gaming, right? But also my real life goals, my business, my social life, like all these things are just as high of a priority for me, right? So I want to make sure that those get prioritized too. But yeah, it's just observation that I've had. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you are into cosplay, definitely check out Cosplay Couture. It's our cosplay fashion show that we have in Miami, New York. Our goal is to elevate cosplay into the mainstream fashion industry because I think that cosplay gets neglected and it should be forefront, right? Especially with the hard work that our cosplay community members do. So yeah, you can definitely check that out. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.